That's the same one.
That's why I'm still running XP.
Windows 97.
The Muscatine City Council will come to order.
Yeah.
Tonight is the in-depth session, folks. Welcome to the council meeting. We'll begin with item 2 on tonight's agenda.
Roll call.
We're not doing a roll call tonight.
Yes,
We are doing.
all meetings except for budget meetings.
Greg, would you do a roll call,
There we go.
please?
Councilmember Spread,
Present.
Phillips,
Present.
Bynum,
Present.
Shahade,
Present.
Natvik, Fitzgerald,
Here.
and Raywald.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.
Item number 2 on tonight's agenda, the Community Development Block Grant Downtown Revitalization Update with Housing Needs Assessment and presentation by State, beginning with Mr. Adam Thomas.
Good evening, Council. I'm first going to just give you a quick update on where we sit with our CDBG Downtown Revitalization Block Grant. And then I'll introduce Lindsay, and she's given a presentation that's also an aspect of our CDBG project as well. So we talked to you, it's probably been 5 months ago now. So we did get the release of funds. So we do have the availability of expending the funds, the $500,000 from the state. Recently, actually just last week, we had a meeting with the property owners and started to connect with them and really emphasize the point that this is going to be a cooperative effort between all the property owners moving forward in this. And they were very receptive to that, very understanding that in order for this to be a successful project, that it will be a collaborative effort and everyone will have to move forward together. So that was really great to have their input on that and have everyone on board. And then after that, recently we also updated our city website. So under the Downtown Revitalization tab, on our city website under community development, we'll be doing updates on there. So it'll be a way for property owners to gain up-to-date information. We'll be doing at least weekly updates there on the city website on the status of the project. So just kind of some bullet points on our schedule. We will hope to have the buildings, the electrical on the buildings prepared for underground electrical by middle of May. And then finish up final design in light of a June letting. So that's kind of the tentative schedule that we're on. So we still do plan on having all of the construction done this construction season. So what I'm going to have Lindsay Whitson, right? Yeah, got it. She is from Bi-State, and I asked Bi-State to put together a community development and housing needs assessment. This is a requirement of our CDBG project to have completed this before. They missed it on their end. It was supposed to be completed as a part of the grant. They missed it, so they were asking us to complete it now. And this is just has to be, a public discussion. So Lindsay will present what she has found and doing her research here in Muscatine. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you ask her.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Who missed what? You missed-
Sorry, yes. This is a requirement that was required as a part of the grant application. This on their website, while filling in your grant application, this was missed on their part, but it is still required.
Who's they?
The state, Iowa Economic Development Authority, but this is still required as a part of their federal requirements as well. So, any other questions before I bring Lindsay up and have her present? All right,
Good. Thank you, Adam.
let me turn on the TV. Turn it off.
Is it Apple or Mac?
Sharp image there.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Hey, wrong screen, huh?
You can press the button. There we go. Yep, and just press.
It's technical.
All right. As Adam mentioned, I'm Lindsay Whitson. I work with Bi-State Regional Commission. We're located in Rock Island. And I'm here to share a community development and housing needs assessment for the city of Muscatine. And my first slide, Adam already kind of touched base on why I'm here, to fulfill a federal requirement as an applicant of the community development block grant process. And I'm here to share it with the public. And the 3 items that I will be discussing include major housing and community development needs of low to moderate income residents. To define what a low to moderate income resident is it is a household that makes less than 115% of the area median income. The second item I will be discussing is major housing and community development needs for non-low to moderate income residents, and potential activities to address the needs that I will be identifying tonight. The sources that I used to compile this information primarily came from the Muscatine Comprehensive Plan, which was recently updated in 2013. The 20 census data, a housing profile for Muscatine County that was conducted in December 2009, and I want to say that was done by the Iowa State Extension Office, and then the City of Muscatine website. The first item is the housing and community development needs of LMI residents. The first item I suggested was to seek funds for growing LMI demographics in the Muscatine area. These are example populations. It could be elderly or Hispanic/Latino populations because they continue to grow in the city. Secondly, build upon existing amenities in low to moderate income neighborhoods. This could be like infill development or remediating parks within the neighborhood, or just like instilling community development gardens, or community gardens, just to name a few. And then, oops, I don't know what I just did. And then to perform routine analysis of the gap between housing that people can afford and housing that is available. I know that the city has implemented some like Section 8 vouchers or some counseling programs that they provide for new homeowners that are looking to buy in the city. Let's see if this goes. What did I do? Sorry.
No, you didn't do anything.
Items on the screen that answered before.
Okay.
Work now?
Yep. And then the second item that I mentioned I was going to discuss is the major housing and community development needs for non-low to moderate income residents. The first one I suggested was to provide elderly specific housing, since the elderly population is growing, actually in relation to the rest of the state and national percentages. It's not growing at as a rapid rate, as rapidly, but it is growing significantly. The highest jump that I saw was from 2000 to 2010 for the age group of 60 to 69. It was growing by 29.8%. Also, to encourage affordable rental housing units to the city, improve the conditions of the existing housing stock, increase high school graduation rates, and to promote quality downtown housing. The slide, it's really hard to see, I apologize. But these three tables kind of go over some of the statistics I just presented. Table 1 is the percentage of Muscatine homeowners and renters spending more than 30% of their income on housing for the year of 2007 and 2011. The reason that 30% is the given percentage is because unaffordable housing is identified as those people that are, those households that are spending more than 30% of their income on housing costs. So I put this table here and suggested encourage affordable rental housing because the Muscatine's percentage is about 7% higher than the state of Iowa, and it did slightly grow, almost 2% from 2007 to 2011, so it's just something to monitor. But the homeownership is less than the state of Iowa, and it actually decreased 5%. So the table on the left-hand corner is the high school graduation rates from 2008 to 2012, and it's increased almost 10% from 2008, but it's still about 7% lower than the rest of the state of Iowa. So that was why I suggested encourage high school graduation rates or increase high school graduation rates. And then the third table on the right, it summarizes the percent of Hispanic or Latino population in the city, and it's almost tripled from what the whole state of Iowa is at 15.3% versus 5.1% for the state. And then lastly, the potential activities that the city could take to maximize their efforts on some of these needs that I've identified is to complete an updated housing needs assessment. To my knowledge, there hasn't been a full assessment completed since 2001, but I could be wrong. Continue to work with local banks, developers, and realtors to find funding for affordable housing within the city. Reuse and remediate rather than demolish and construct new housing. Perform a routine analysis of the existing housing stock. Seek to secure other grants or loan funding that might help to decrease an issue of affordable housing. And lastly, encourage citizen participation to identify the future needs and to encourage them to participate in some of these programs that you guys already have implemented throughout the city. And questions? And go easy.
Questions for Lindsay or Matt?
Adam,
Or Adam?
Adam.
you said low to moderate income. You said there was a percentage. What dollar amount?
Well, it would depend on what the area median income is for Muscatine, which I don't have that number off the top of my head, but
Well, that's, I didn't know whether you did or not. But
yeah, so you would just take that times 1.5%, and that would be the high, that's like the moderate end. The low, very low end is like 50% and lower, so actually, if you're at the 115%, you'd be making more than, obviously, than the, but that's a whole household. That's not just one individual.
Okay.
Anyone else, council? Thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Just another blurb. Lindsay is a graduate of the IISC program as well. That's working here in Muscatine. So, just to know that we do have some fine people from that program that are working here in the state. So, yeah,
Very good. Good.
Thank you.
turns off on me.
Thank you. Okay, item number 3, CIP review and discussion. Mr. Andrew Payne.
I guess before we get into things, I just want to make sure that everyone gets the document this time to review.
Yeah.
So tonight's pretty simple. I'm just going to answer any additional questions you might have it, and then see if there's any changes, adding or dropping items that you'd like to see. If I get consensus that this is the document that you want to see, then I'll bring forth a resolution at a future meeting so that you can act on it. So. that just gonna open up to questions or?
Looks reasonable to me.
Oh, Madam? No questions.
Andrew, do I need to ask you about the Eagle Ridge Sewer
Yeah,
project?
that was not one that was in the initial staff submittal. I know we had looked at it, so.
But yes,
that-
now would be the time to bring that up.
Okay, I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
I'd like to see that included.
Andrew, I do have a question. How long has it been without, or when did we annex it and promise these people that they'd have sewers?
How old's your house, Greg? 20?
19, 20,
Not 20 years.
24, 25?
Is it that long?
Yeah, because Codroni built it and daughter lived there, so in excess of 20 years.
That sounds about right. I don't have that off the top of my head. I apologize.
I'm really surprised it's the first time it's been brought up to us that there
You can bring up anything you want.
was a problem.
Conflict?
I'm just wondering where, I mean, there's already sewer line extended to the Karkosh area,
Right.
according to the map. There's already a lift station just off of Bald Eagle Drive. I can't tell the distance, obviously. There's another existing sewer line that runs along University that stops just past the lift station. Is there a sewer line that goes out to Han Geneva?
Yeah, there's a force main that goes out.
Okay. Okay, that's what I thought. But I just did, I'm not, to include it, I guess is okay. I just have an issue of, there's no projected dollar amounts.
That'd take a little more work, I mean, to develop. You can kind of see from the topography of that, which, my assumption, the reason that perhaps the original development didn't is that it's not necessarily as straightforward as it would be on flat ground. Like, for example, the one on University. You know, it's close, but it's down and up in a ravine, so that's,
Well, and you have to realize that the development's 20 plus or minus years old, and University isn't that old. And the sewer line coming down University wasn't there
yeah, that's,
when Eagle Ridge was developed. It wasn't out Highway 22. Shamrock subdevelopment, probably 15 years ago, maybe,
10 or 12.
somewhere in that vicinity. And there was a deal struck with that one that they would get sewer brought over to their development if they had it in their deed that when the city touches anywhere, it automatically annexes. And it annexed, and when Heatherland Drive picked up sewer. So at the time that Eagle Ridge was developed, there wasn't a sewer line even remotely close.
Right.
Right. I'm not going to speak pro or con to the particular subject, as I'm a resident of Eagle Ridge, but I would like, I have a question for Steve and just a comment. I mean, there'd be two ways to proceed with this project. You could certainly negotiate something similar to what, how we proceeded with Heatherland Drive, where we had a connector and private sewer extended throughout the development, or you could provide sewer main throughout the right-of-way, which is presently private, and the homeowners could be responsible for hooking up at that point. And that could be negotiated with the development as it was negotiated with Heatherland and with Irish Ivy, for example. And just as a side comment. And then secondly, Steve, I don't know if you've got any history on sewer and annexation at that time, or if we have it somewhere in the file, but haven't seen anything.
I think Councilman Fitzgerald was pretty accurate. The subdivision was originally laid out as a large lot subdivision with a private well, and that's what that lift station is down below. And the sanitary sewer system is private. I mean, they're all septic systems. Subsequent to that, Irish Ivy was developed and they put in a sewer when they did the subdivision to that location. And University Avenue was developed and the sewer line extended in, but you hit the nail on the head. I mean, all of those were after Eagle Ridge was originally developed. You may recall that when Irish Ivy had theirs put in, they did have the agreement to voluntarily annex if and when it became immediately contiguous to the city, and it did, and they did voluntarily annex when, as you rightfully said, the Heatherland Drive neighborhood annexed. We do have the light industrial development that's just toward the river from the Karkash addition. And that, we extended sewer off from down below, and there was a tie-on fee for those folks that did put in but that is fed, the sewer, there is a sewer line there, it probably shows on the map you have. All of those were done after the development at Eagle Ridge. So it was really set up originally as a large lot rural development, but it was within the city limits.
But I'm not aware of any outstanding agreements or anything, correct?
None that I am aware of. I mean, it adhered to all codes at the time that it was developed. If there is a consensus that they would like to have sewer extended out there, I think the policy of the city is we take a hard look at it for them and try to work out some agreement with them. But I think we need a consensus of the ownership that they would participate if we did something like that before we bring it back to city council. Doesn't hurt that it's a placeholder in the comp plan, as you know, or not comp plan, but the CIP, only because it's out there. It doesn't mean that it's gonna move forward any more quickly than any other, but it would be a placeholder in the document.
Well, on this document that I'm holding, it says estimated time of completion, 8 months.
Probably for the construction of it, to build it and to construct it, I think. I mean, if you gave it a
So
green
that's
light
not
today,
saying
you're
in
looking
8
at probably
months you're
8
gonna have
months
it.
to build it
Okay.
and put it
Doesn't
in.
indicate a start.
Right?
Now, do you remember, like on Shamrock Drive, Irish Ivy, the city didn't pay to have that sewer line taken up into the development. The developer paid to bring it from 22 on into the development.
That's correct, and remember, that was a rural subdivision, they used our rural road standards, and the agreement we had with the residents or the ownership of Irish Ivy was that they would design that street to city specifications and install a sewer to city specifications as long as we allowed them to tie on to the city sewer system, with the understanding that if and when it became contiguous, they would voluntarily annex, and we would know that the infrastructure put in place met city requirements at the time it was annexed.
And so I guess my point there is that it's already existing in what I refer to as Karkash Corner, partway into that development, which is contiguous to Eagle Ridge and the other lots and so forth. So it's already in there quite a ways. If we extended it on out Highway 22 to Solomon Drive, it would be right along the property line of that entire development. If we're talking about Eagle Ridge as a development, not one specific property.
You have a couple of houses when you enter Eagle Ridge that drop down over a hillside to development that may or may not be easily connected to that, but anything's possible. I mean, we would probably take advantage of the lay of the land to try to keep the grades where we need them to be for that sewer.
But they may be able to go the other direction as well,
Yeah.
with University. Solomon Road's technically county as well.
Yeah, I know.
But there is sewer available now that wasn't when that development went in. That's what's happened.
How many households are affected, do you think?
In Eagle Ridge, I'm gonna tell you there's about 27 or 28 lots there, and I'm just shooting from the hip, but I think that's
I think you're
reasonably
about
close.
twice as much, aren't you?
Those are the ones down adjacent
Oh,
to
okay.
Highway 20, off of 22, then that's Eagle Ridge
Yep,
also.
it's all part of that development. Yep.
I didn't realize there was that many houses up there.
3 of them, I think 3 or 4 of them are actually served by Eastern Iowa Utility Rural Electric, because they're in that, out of the service area. The rest of them are served by Power and Water.
Anyone else, council? Jeanette, you satisfied that your suggestion has been added?
Yes, I just wanted it included.
Okay. Anything else, Andrew?
Is there a consensus one way or another on that?
Sure.
Any other items you want to address? Otherwise, I'll bring back the final document with the resolution to adopt it with this included in it.
On the same page.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Item number 4, folks, is an action item, resolution authorizing the submission of an Iowa Reinvestment District pre-application. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Bob, and a second?
Second.
Second, Tom, any discussion? This is a roll call vote, beginning with Bob,
Aye.
Osama,
Aye.
Phil,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and Jeanette.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. And it is now time for comments from council, beginning with Mike,
Done, Your Honor.
Phil,
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
Osama,
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Bob,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Jeanette.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Tom,
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Greg,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
and I have nothing. Is there a motion
So
to
moved.
adjourn? Meeting is adjourned.